Hello, ladies and gentlemen, this is your boy Willie Does Wrestling back at it again with a brand new video. And I know what all of you are thinking. This is not what I normally cover here on the channel, and you would be right. I don't usually cover YouTube boxing, and I definitely don't cover YouTube beef here on this channel. However, if you've been a longtime fan of me, you would know that I love YouTube boxing. I've been a fan of YouTube boxing around the same time I've been a wrestling fan, and I've covered a few YouTube boxing situations here on this channel. For example, Jake Paul versus Tommy Fury I've covered, Floyd Mayweather versus Deji, and I did an in-length review of the first Misfits boxing event with KSI versus Swarms and Pineda. But this situation has been all over my timeline in the past couple of weeks. This guy is Wade Concept, and he is a boxing commentator for the longest time. And he's only recently started covering the YouTube boxing scene, and he's started to become very popular. So popular, in fact, that KSI and his manager, Mams Taylor, who run Misfits Boxing, started allowing him to commentate and give interviews and all of that for Misfits Boxing. Technically, you could say he worked for Misfits Boxing. However, he is in a bit of a bad light with KSI. Why? Because Wade made a video a couple of days ago called KSI versus Jake Paul Isn't Happening. And in that, he said that he believes Jake Paul versus Tommy Fury 2 would sell more than KSI versus Jake Paul. He said it in this little short clip, and only 19 seconds, but ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be the start of a huge Twitter tirade. So we'll react in depth. This is what he said.
In the Impulsive podcast, he does not think that the KSI fight sells like a Tommy Fury rematch and a Floyd Mayweather fight. And I don't know that I can disagree with him right now. I don't, because they pulled some legitimately crazy numbers. And while I used to be on the train that Jake and KSI did similar numbers, I don't know that that's the case anymore. And is this year. And we heard from Jake in the Impulsive podcast, he does not.
So, yeah, it's a bit of a crazy take, you know. I honestly do believe that in terms of overall views, KSI and Jake Paul would do crazy numbers. However, I think I understand his point, because pay-per-views, like Jake Paul versus Tommy Fury, did so well because Tommy Fury attracts an older audience, because he attracts die-hard boxing viewers. Casual boxing viewers like myself normally wouldn't buy pay-per-views. They would go on, let's say, streaming websites, whatever. So I do kind of agree with Wade, even though a lot of people would be like, well, that's crazy. More people would want to watch KSI versus Jake Paul. I kind of agree with Wade in the sense that more people would buy Jake Paul versus Tommy Fury rather than go on websites, because you got to think more people that would watch Jake Paul versus KSI are kids. And do you think kids would want to pay $60 for a pay-per-view just to see one fight? Or would diehard boxing viewers who probably know a lot of boxers on the undercard for, let's say, a Jake Paul versus Tommy Fury 2, they would buy that? Whereas kids would probably go on any streaming website in the world and would wait on Twitter for the main event. So really, I kind of do agree on Wade in the fact that more people would buy Jake Paul versus Tommy Fury in the case of pay-per-views other than Jake Paul versus KSI. And viewer-wise, like if you are on streaming websites, then yes, KSI and Jake Paul would trump that, but they would only watch the main event. They wouldn't watch the whole card. So Wade, this is a short clip for his KSI versus Jake Paul video. KSI said this. These tweets are now all deleted. Thankfully, there were screenshots. KSI said this. Man, fuck Wade. This Wade guy plays all sides, trying to please everyone. You are so fake, oh my god. Fuck you and everything you stand for, you two-faced you know what? This man acts like he knows everything about boxing. He doesn't know shit. You're not that guy. Can't believe Sharky let this snake into my box. Fuck off. This is insane. Kavos, a YouTube commentator, ended up replying to this thread saying he said he doesn't think you outsell Jake versus Tommy and you do this. LOL. The only one who switched up was you for having this reaction to a boxing commentator giving a boxing opinion. Regardless if the opinion is crazy, it was never remotely that deep. And I do agree, like this is an insane reaction to someone who has a boxing opinion. Yes, he might have, appeared on your events, but that doesn't mean that he needs to have a biased opinion against you. And he was talking specifically on pay-per-view buys. In terms of views, yes, KSI versus Jake Paul trumps that. I think I've said that a million times in this video already, but I don't understand this reaction, really. How many times has someone like Joe Rogan, who commentates UFC events, how many times has he criticized UFC for doing something stupid? That's why Joe Rogan's so respected. Wade is probably trying to be the Joe Rogan of boxing by criticizing and giving honest opinions, whether or not they are crazy opinions. I think KSI ended up responding to this thread by Kavos. Yes, KSI says, as much as we don't see eye to eye, I rate you because at least you're obvious with your hatred towards me. If you really think that one statement from him is the only reason why I'm upset, then you must not know me that well, lol. Kavos then responds saying, well, why don't you clarify? Mam seemed pretty upset about it, and the pay-per-view numbers from the second fight you did with Logan doesn't seem to be much else. What are we missing? Yes, according to Wade, and according to Logan Paul himself, when KSI fought Logan Paul the second time back in 2019, they only had 400,000 pay-per-view buyers, even though Mams believed it was close to 1 million. So, like we said before, not a lot of people are going to want to buy the pay-per-view. And Mams Taylor is KSI's manager, who also runs Misfits, which we will see later on, actually fired Wade Concept on a Twitter space publicly. But before we get into that, KSI, I think, responded to this saying, yep. Like when Kavos asked, why don't you clarify that Wade switched up behind the scenes or something, KSI responded saying, the initial hatred towards the tag team boxing that he put out publicly, but privately loved the idea. He literally just says and does what the public wants to hear, while privately trying to please everyone. I'm done with it. Be your true self publicly and privately towards me. This is an ongoing trend with a lot of topics. Anyway, I'm tired. I've got training early tomorrow. Yeah, I didn't talk about the tag team boxing on this channel because I didn't think it was worth it. But yeah, tag team boxing, I think, is worth criticism. When I heard about it, I was like, what? I was very, very confused because I was like, why the fuck is there tag team boxing? But, I think, it's insane. Oh, KSI also said, to you, it's an overreaction, but to me, it's a build-up to a lot of things behind the scenes. You can have a public opinion, but don't come to me on a switch-up when you see me in person. Sorry for the outburst, but I'm human. I'm going to get angry sometimes. This is about an opinion on Wade saying that Tommy Fury versus Jake Paul, the rematch, will outsell KSI versus Jake Paul whenever that may happen. Do I think KSI versus Jake Paul will happen at this point? I've tried making videos on that multiple times. No, at this rate, I don't see it happening, at least not this year. But, yeah. Wade responded saying, I understand I ruffle some feathers with my takes on things, but I don't and have never switched up on you in person or online. My opinions on a potential fight don't reflect my opinion on you as a person or a fighter. I've always respected you as both. And yeah, it's honestly insane. I think Wade made another response to KSI either yesterday or the day before. But Wade Plem is a great fucking... I enjoy his videos. Oh yeah, he made a response, which we will get to a little later. Excuse me. I'm a little tired. Holy fuck, he tweets a lot. Oh yes. He responded to the initial hatred towards the tag team boxing. Wade says, "My opinions around the tag team idea was never hate. I had concerns over its safety and rule set, and I needed to see it happen. When I saw it, I gladly found that those precautions were taken. I'm not sure where JJ is getting this, but behind the scenes, I said the same thing." Now, like we said before, Mams Taylor, I think we're around that part of the video. Mams Taylor went on a Twitter space with, Wade. You see their Keem is in there as well. Mams went off on Wade for having this opinion so far as to fire him in front of a Twitter space just for having an opinion. And we're going to watch that right now.
Again, and I say this in my videos, I say, this is what my source told me. This is what I
don't know who your source is. What does that mean to me?
For concept, Wade saying his source is saying that KSI and Logan's second fight only had 300 to 400,000 buyers.
I don't, but I'm just telling you.
Okay, my grandma just came back to life and said that it did 75 million.
Thing,
That's my source.
I'm not in the.
Did he just say 75 million?
Grandma just came back to life and said that it did 75 million. That's my source.
725 million or 75 million? Because it's definitely not 75 million. This guy's talking out of his fucking ass. This guy runs the Misfits. This guy runs a boxing organization, people.
I'm not in the business of giving up sources. I don't do that.
Okay, well...
I know, but wait, come on.
And if I was, by the way, and I don't mean to do this either, Mams, if I was in the business of it, I think people would know a lot more.
Wade, logically speaking, though, do you really, really believe that Tommy Fury versus Jake Paul 2 is going to do more numbers versus KSI? Like,
it's his opinion, little bro.
Here's the thing.
It's his opinion.
I mean, it's his opinion.
This is why I was concerned.
Yeah, one of the people on the space is saying it's his opinion, little bro. It's his opinion. No, definitely when it comes to overall numbers, KSI versus Jake Paul does better. However, like I said before, more people are going to rather stream the fight than to buy it. Like, who's going to stay up? Let's say this event starts at 6. The main event probably doesn't start till 12. Do you really think kids are going to stay up and watch a bunch of fights with people that they don't know? Or would they rather wait on Twitter for people to start tweeting, hey, it's the main event, go on those streaming websites and just watch the fight and then go to bed? Think about it.
I'm working off information I'm given. One, when I heard my source tell me the same numbers that Logan said about the KSI 2 fight, I went, wait a second. I say it in my video. I said, that was way lower than I thought. Because, Kim, how many times, Kim, have we been in this room and I've said that number does... I was on True Jordy's show saying that KSI and Jake did 2 million, I thought. So that was the information I was working off for a long time. Then I got this new information. So that is part of the reason. And also, in my head... To be
fair, I don't know about this new information, and
yeah.
I'll
it sounds like it came from. It sounds like it came from Jake Paul. To be honest.
So yeah, this is a professional boxing promoter. I thought Tony Khan was bad from AEW. This guy is accusing Wade of saying, "Well, I think you're getting that 400,000 pay-per-view buys from Jake Paul," where Logan Paul, the person who was fighting in the event, said it did 400,000 buys. Buys, not numbers, buys.
No, it didn't come. I don't talk to Jake about stuff like this. I don't speak directly to Jake about anything. I can give that 100%. Never have, ever. In fact,
I'm talking about
I speak to the guy that's
speaking about his camp.
I speak to the guy that's saying "fuck me" and whatever I stand for on a day, like at least once a month.
Yeah, that's funny. It's like I don't talk to Jake, but I talk to the guy who says fuck me and everything I stand for. That's true. And I think that's honestly sad that the guy that you work with calls you a two-faced C word because you have a boxing opinion. That's crazy to me. I'm a KSI fan, but I think that's fucking stupid.
Which is crazy. I'm never
Yeah,
taking
100.
personal shots at JJ. I was just
Well, you
talking
got-
to him yesterday, and now I'm getting fuck your whole life and everything you stand for.
Let him cry about it.
I
Let
mean,
him cry about it.
that's pretty hard.
That's crazy.
That is crazy. That is crazy.
That is a
Fucking
little
damn,
hard.
you don't think that's just a little
Oh,
bit
my boy
crazy?
Wade, we're being very
Well,
honest.
listen,
Guy's a
hey,
crybaby, man.
wait. You got to understand JJ's mindset, though. Like, dude, he's working for this Jake Paul fight, and he's got you out there saying, "Oh, Tommy Fury will do more." So, I mean, come on, I'd be pissed too.
But
I'd want-
also, there's
again-
no way. Wade, how about this? How about we do a bet?
Yeah.
If they fight each other, we do a bet now for 300 grand, me and you. Okay.
I don't have
Okay,
300 grand.
how-
man.
how-
I don't walk around with money.
All
in
right.
my pocket.
That's crazy. Hey, if KSI and Jake actually fight each other, let's look at the pay-per-view numbers and see how much they do. Fuck off.
However much you want to put on, we'll put on a proper bet that shit does way more than Tommy
Yeah.
Fury, Jake. 100% guarantee that. It's just fucking.
I'm-
It's just.
The thing is, though, you guys act like I want this to be the case. You're like, yes, Wade wants Jake to do crazy numbers. Has anybody wanted Jake versus KSI more than me?
I've wanted KSI versus Jake since 2018. Since KSI did that promo after he beat Joe Weller saying, Jake Paul, Logan Paul, any of the Pauls, I don't care. I didn't want Logan. I wanted Jake. I wanted him to fight Jake more. But no, he fought Logan. Jake at first said no, and then this back and forth for 5 years. I honestly am sick and tired. I don't think Jake Paul versus KSI is going to happen, at least not until 2024, I think. I don't know. I might be crazy.
Yes, me from the very beginning before you even had a YouTube channel.
Sure, fair.
Keem wanted that a lot more. He's been pushing for that since YouTube boxing began. I get it. Yeah, Keem.
One person. Keem has probably wanted it more than me. I can give that.
Well,
up.
because I'm such a Jake
But who
Paul
else has
fanboy,
built
I've
that
wanted
fight
it so
like
that Jake
this?
would knock him out.
Who else has built that fight like this? Look at my channel.
No.
Who has built that fight more?
Anyway, have fun on Kingpin, Wade.
See, there you go.
No.
But now,
We're
again,
we're
it's something
going
I've never
crazy.
done publicly, which I,
Yeah, that was fucking crazy. That right there, due to a boxing opinion, Wade got fired because he says Tommy Fury versus Jake does better numbers. It's insane. So he's got KSI out there calling him a two-faced C word. And then he's got Mams Taylor, the fucking promoter, saying, have fun on Kingpin. Kingpin is a different boxing organization. Pretty much saying, have fun over there, buddy. You're fired. And I think he said somewhere else that it is confirmed that that Wade was fired from Misfits because he said this. And it's like, why? What's wrong with him having a fucking opinion? We are in the age now where you can lose your job because you have an opinion online. It is stupid. He is a boxing commentator. Honestly, I would do the same thing. If I worked at a wrestling promotion, I would call out something stupid that happens over there. Would it get me fired? Probably. But I wouldn't care. So, it's stupid. So Wade made a response to KSI 13 hours ago. The reason why I didn't do it was because I already made like 2 videos yesterday. And I had to go to bed early last night. So, Wade made this response. And 16 minutes long. I know this video is probably going to be around a half hour, 40 minutes long. But, you know, Wade's a nice guy. And I want to be the Wade concept of wrestling. And, you know, a lot of wrestling channels are my inspirations, like JD from New York, Wrestle Talk, What Culture, what have you. But I want to be like Wade concept, where I go in front of a camera every day and I report, and I'll game, I'll do whatever. That's who I want to be. And for him to get all this hate from a YouTuber with 20 million subscribers, a YouTuber I used to respect, but now I don't really. I think his ego and his personality is fucking shit. And his manager, who honestly is the most unprofessional manager I've ever seen in boxing, in wrestling, in MMA, ever. It's stupid. So anyway, we're going to go over his response. He's going to debunk everything, and we're going to react to it. So bear with me. I might pause a lot, but let's see. Wade Concept response to KSI.
As you guys probably already know, I am making this video to respond to my character being called into question as a person and a professional by two individuals, Mams Taylor and KSI. And as you guys probably already know, this all, at least from what you guys think, stemmed from a video I did called KSI versus Jake Paul is not happening. And in that video, I said, even though I previously had thought different, I wasn't so sure that KSI and Jake Paul would pull better pay-per-view numbers than Jake Paul and Tommy Fury. Now, we're going to get into all of that in a second, but that was the tipping point for everything that came my way. All of, like I said, the personal attacks.
Yeah, it's very unfortunate that it was because of that. Like, very scummy and very unprofessional. Considering KSI runs Misfits too.
KSI saying I was two-faced, that I was playing both sides, and even going as far as to saying, fuck everything you stand for, you two-faced word I can't say here. Mams Taylor publicly in front of everyone in a Twitter space and now everyone in the influencer boxing scene, just like all of this was done publicly in front of everyone, told me to go have fun on Kingpin, effectively firing me from Misfits.
Who else has built that fight like this? Look at my channel.
No.
Who has built that fight more?
Anyway, have fun on Kingpin, Wade.
Now, since
I feel like I didn't have to look at all the tweets and the Twitter space because he's doing that already, but at least now we get a refresh of the context. Very good on Wade here.
I think KSI and Mams Taylor have apologized for their tone, the outlash, the way in which they went about.
Oh shit, I completely forgot that they apologized. Yeah, I apologize to Wade for allowing my emotions and passion to take over by firing him on spaces. That wasn't cool, and I'm sorry I did that.
Things, but
I don't think this is genuine at all. And I think KSI apologized too.
The apologies themselves.
Yeah, I'm sorry for my tweets. It was way out of character. We've already spoken privately, but I wanted to publicly apologize to Wade. Bullshit.
Don't make up for the words that were said to me. The attacks on my character, personally and professionally, saying that I am one way behind the scenes and one way on camera. I can promise you guys it's not the truth. I'm going to prove it to every one of you guys that supported me right now. So KSI made a video or was a part of a video on Side Plus.
And I forgot about that too. Okay, well, good thing Wade included that. Yeah, he made a video on Side Plus pretty much still saying that Wade is one way in private and one way behind the scenes, even though he apologized at this point. So, yeah, if I were Wade, yeah, I wouldn't believe the apologies were genuine. And, yeah, good on him. He says, I don't, even if they genuinely mean it, you know, your character got called into play. He called him two-faced. And, you know, fuck you and everything you stand for. That's very shitty and scummy. And, yeah, no. Yeah.
And he addressed the situation, and by doing so showed me that not only is this apology that was tweeted at this almost exact same time Mams Taylor tweeted it, and I know exactly why, starting to ring hollow, but
PR team was probably like, you're losing subscribers and you're getting a lot of hate. Apologize.
That he's not even trying to hide the fact that they're lying.
Wade is obviously allowed to have his opinion on anything. He can, you know, it's a free society. You can say whatever you want, do whatever you want. That's cool. But I'm okay I'm allowed to hate on it as well. Like,
Yeah.
I'm allowed to.
He says, I'm allowed to have my opinion on anything, but he's allowed to hate on it as well. And I know he's misspeaking there, and he means he's allowed to have his own opinion. And he's right. I've never told KSI he can't have his own opinion on the things that I say or anybody else says, because why would I do that? Of course he can have his own opinion, just like I can have mine. But only one of us got upset about that. And it wasn't me.
The reason why I was like, he's two-faced is because behind.
Hear him again call me two-faced. So again, did the apology really mean anything if you continue to say things that aren't true? And maybe JJ just doesn't know that it's not true. But to call me two-faced again shows me that the things you apologize for weren't the words you said. It was how you said it.
Behind.
Yeah, very respectable on Wade there, being like, there you go again. So, is your apology true, or is it because you're losing subscribers? And I've seen video, like I watched Cavos' video on KSI, where he went on KSI's Reddit, and KSI's Reddit is just blowing up on people saying KSI's maturity is going down, and they support Wade, and yeah, it's insane. I used to watch KSI all the time in like 2018 till probably around early 2022, because I didn't find him entertaining anymore for this exact reason, because he's just losing control.
In the scenes, he's there like, this tag team idea, brilliant, I love it. And then online, he's there like, not sure about this, don't think this is a good idea, this, da. I'm like, bro, you 1 minute you're saying you like it to me in private, and publicly you're saying what the public want to hear. So
none of this is true. I can't believe JJ just flat out said that to the Sidemen. And by the way, the Sidemen themselves are getting this information from JJ, but I genuinely like those guys. Toby, Ethan, Josh, I like those guys. I've only met them a couple times, and to be honest, I liked JJ, and I still want to like JJ, but I don't know if he's confused or if he's just flat out lying here, but none of this has happened. What I said about tag team boxing on camera is the same thing that I said behind the scenes, and I can show you guys on screen now that I have the receipts to prove it. January 28th was my tweet about tag team boxing, where I said, and I think a quote tweet of Fred's, that I needed to see it, but on the surface of it, I didn't like it.
Yeah, I could understand that, like safety issues and all that, and yeah, it wasn't like he hated on it. It was just like, I need to see it to believe it, which is not bad. That's just any logical response, because when you hear tag team boxing, it's like, what the fuck? Like, this isn't WWE. Why the fuck do we need to do this in boxing?
Because as a combat sports commentator, I have seen things tried, like multiple man fights in MMA where guys get absolutely battered with their head turns and caved in. So, of course, I was concerned when I heard tag team boxing, because this is already a niche in the sport of boxing that a lot of guys that don't box are coming into, are learning how to box. And then on top of that, on a couple of weeks' notice, are going to learn how to tag team box, guys with no experience. In fact, when the tweet went live, B. Dave said he didn't even know what the rule set was.
But how does a tag team boxing match actually run? What are the rules like?
Well, Mams hasn't completely explained everything to me, but I was down because I really want to fight Stromedy. And I think that me and Pineda joining forces would be sick. It'd be like a father and son boxing match,
How long does the rounds last, and how many rounds are there?
I don't know. Yeah, I have no idea.
Yeah, it's kind of fucked. Where it's like a couple of weeks notice, you're doing this completely new thing, and someone's like, yo, how many rounds are there, and how long are the rounds going to be? And then you're sitting there like, fuck, I don't know, which I think is stupid. You should know how many rounds there are, and you should know how long the rounds are, so that way you can train and prepare, especially your cardio and everything, on top of learning how to tag team box as well. That's kind of fucked up.
Oh, okay. Well,
these were things I was concerned about. The rule set, the health and safety of the fighters. Were we going to take it seriously? Because if we didn't, someone's going to get hurt.
Yes.
I only have two ways of contact with KSI. One is when we see each other in person, and 2 is through Twitter DM, which we're going to get into in a second. But the last time that I DM'd KSI up to that point was October 14th.
Hey, brother, I know you're not trying to do a ton of interviews this weekend, so my bad on asking, but DAZN want me to snag you at 3 p.m. today. If you're free for 15-20 minutes before the weigh-ins, let me know if you can swing it. Thanks, boss. Yeah, no response. And then, hey, bro, got a question for you. What's up? Okay.
And also, in person, the last time I had spoken to KSI was January 14th, 2 weeks before rumors started to circulate about tag team boxing. And then the announcement was made on the 30th, and as soon as I saw it was real, I saw they were actually doing this, I sent a text to Mams Taylor. Hey, Mams, just wanted to let you know I'm recording a video on this tag team idea. I'm going to be honest with the people. Just my opinion, but I don't like it. And I go into why, but that's all. And then Mams Taylor says, you never mentioned that to me when we spoke about it, and maybe I could tell you more about it before you do that.
Yeah. I hate when you go to like someone who's a boss and it's like, hey, I'm doing a video about the tag team idea and, you know, like all that. And then someone's like, you never mentioned that to me. He's mentioning it to you right now. Like, he's recording a video, blah, blah, blah. But before he records it, he wants to know the full context so he can be honest with the people. He said it in that fucking text. I hate when people are like, well, you never mentioned that to me. Fucking Christ. When I used to be on, like, the first wrestling channel I was on, like, when I have an idea, they're like, well, you never mentioned that to me. And it's like, I'm mentioning it to you right now. Stupid. Fucking Christ. Sorry, I just went on a full rant about something that happened to me in the past, a year and a half ago. But I hate it when people are like, where you say something to them and they're like, you never mentioned that to me before. I'm mentioning it to you right now. Fuck.
I guess he meant to say, so you have the full picture. Mams Taylor and I never spoke about tag team boxing, and I never once told Mams Taylor it was a brilliant idea that I loved, which is why I said in my reply, we never spoke about it. We spoke about a pro tournament that you had planned. All I heard of this was rumor until today. I'd gladly hear more about it for sure. Just doesn't make a ton of sense to me. Then he said, okay, we'll talk before you post so you get the full picture. So yes, I was open to hearing more about tag team boxing, and we did sit down and talk that night, and that was the very same night that I recorded the Breakdown podcast with Sensei and had these things to say about tag team boxing.
The reason you have to tag out is because imagine someone is faking like they're going to go tag, right? Like they step into that circle, they turn, boom, throw the right hand over, you know? You could get some like safety issues could be a real thing here. This is why this, like, again, I told everybody involved, I need to see this before I really make a judgment on it.
So no, I didn't hate tag team boxing. I didn't like the idea of it because of the health and safety involved with the fighters. I never said I loved the idea behind the scenes. I said that I wasn't quite sure about it and it didn't make sense to me and I needed to see it. And I know I'm taking...
Yeah, so that part where KSI says he hated tag team boxing on camera and loved it behind the scenes, that was debunked. And, you know, he said that right there. He wasn't sure about it. So that one point with KSI wasn't true. Shocker.
Taking a long way around here, but I just want to make sure you guys fully understand how wrong this is what they are saying. Again, this whole time, I had not spoken to KSI about it once. I'm in Philadelphia, and Mams Taylor hits me with the actual seeing of what tag team boxing looked like. I think it was February 13th. But he sent me some training footage that you guys have now seen live of Derek Chisora, Idris Virgo, and others training the tag team boxing. And once I watched it and saw how smooth and how it looked like it could be better protected, I said, wow, this looks smoother than I thought and can work with the right rules defined. Then I doubled down on the newfound understanding I had of that video after I saw it on the 13th with a public video on the 19th, once again proving the things I say in private, I absolutely say in public. All right, there's the tag. Referee steps in and they reset. Pretty smooth transition. I'm not mad at that at all. The guy's working here, working. Goes southpaw, boom, boom. And he goes into his corner, and a referee immediately steps in. So again, I assume, and there's another back slap tag. God dang it. If we're going to be pro wrestling, let's just at least follow that rule set. The variety that you get with Misfits is something I think is pretty dope. It isn't just...
Also, like the referee steps in case they're going to tag, so that way when you're in the middle of tagging someone, the person that's not tagging? Like your opponent doesn't hit you while you're tagging in or something? Okay.
One steady thing, there's a lot of different things you can latch onto and say, that's why I watch Misfits. That is why I watch influencer boxing. I'm not too mad at that. I just want to make sure it's done right. Where I complimented the idea of tag team boxing because now I had seen it and I was showing people how it could possibly operate if done safely. So KSI, you flat out lied here. And I can't believe you have, because you had no reason to. JJ, you either lied or you're getting your information from people you may want to start to look a little closer at, because I don't know what you're saying here, but it's flat out untrue.
And then online, he's there like, not sure about this. Don't think this is a good idea. Da-da-da. I'm like, bro, you 1 minute you're saying you like it to me in private, and publicly you're saying what the public want to hear. So with Wade, he just wants to constantly
be on everyone's good side, as a journalist would. Side.
Yeah,
which
he's got to play the game. That is his.
So, no, I don't just want to be on everyone's good side. I don't just say what the public wants to hear. JJ, you should know better than anyone that I don't do that. When the first time we met, I made sure on the record, right in front of you, when Alex Wasabi pulled out of that fight while I was in Clapham, and I got all the news, and I came to you and I already knew the right information. And to you, just like I had on Twitter when people attacked me for saying Alex Wasabi had a factual concussion and could not fight on 2 to 3 weeks notice and should not fight with a recent concussion on 2 to 3 weeks notice, I said the same thing to you in front of you in our interview.
I think Swarms is a better fighter than Alex Wasabi.
Really?
Yes, because at least he can get into the ring.
Okay.
Yeah. Wait, what about Alex? Where's Alex?
Yeah,
couldn't even make it into the ring. So
listen, obviously Alex is got the concussion issues. We want to make sure that we are sensitive to that.
I mean,
it is what it is, right? We move on.
I mean, Jake Paul's clowning on him.
It's like, Alex Wasabi couldn't get into the ring. And then Wade's like, well, no. He's got a recent concussion, like he needs to recover or something like that. Oh, yeah. Of course. Jake Paul's clowning. I'm like, fuck off. Jake Paul clowning.
I did see that.
Jake Paul's clowning on Alex, even though that's his guy.
It's his representative. I don't know what happened
I don't know.
Yeah, he's got to play the game. That is his job role, and his whole thing
but
is
I guess, obviously, that's going to rub me the wrong way.
Yeah. Of course. Yeah. But the public don't have that full story. So they're seeing him put out this little clip, and then they're seeing you bug out over this little clip, and they're thinking, this is a massive overreaction.
I did bug out.
But even Toby is confused as to what it is that I do as a journalist. I don't play both sides. I am unbiased. And I'm not directing this at Toby, but it's just,
I think we need to stop with that narrative of, you're unbiased. It means that you are two-faced, or you play both sides, or you're a hypocrite. And it's like, no, I'm just unbiased. And, I think people really need to stop where, 1 minute you say you like something, and then the next minute you hate something. People are like, oh my God, like, you said this before, but now you're saying this, and it's like, well, I'm unbiased. And then people are like, no, you just want to say what the public want to hear. It's like, no, it's not like that at all. You can change your mind. You could be unbiased. You could hate one thing and like the next. I don't understand that. I think people really need to change that mindset where if you're unbiased, it doesn't mean you're playing both sides. It just means you're being honest.
Just the wordage being used. There's a difference between playing both sides and saying what people want to hear and being unbiased to both sides to make sure that I don't lean one way or another. And that's what I do. Because there is no side to me. There is no KSI side. There is no Jake side. There is the Joe Rogan rule or the commentary rule, which is you see what you say.
There you go.
That's exactly what I do. So, yes. JJ, if I didn't speak to you online since October before February 22nd, and I didn't speak to you in person since January 14th, and in person, if we talked on Fight Week, there was only one opportunity to do that, and that was when our face-to-face was about to be set up, and I had no idea about tag team boxing at that moment. When was it that we talked about it in person? You can enlighten me, please. And also, this is so silly that I even have to say this, but another reason I was in hot water or things were an issue or I was pissing people off behind the scenes was because I had an energy drink that I dared to say was scientifically better than Prime. When I was asked on Twitter for my honest opinion about my drink, one that I have partnered with and am invested in, and believe in the product for that doesn't contain any caffeine, that doesn't contain any sugar. I spoke honestly when someone said, is it better than Prime? I said, in my opinion, yes. But I also, in that same tweet thread, responding to someone else that had said, oh, Wade, you're coming for Prime. I said, they're in their lane, I'm in mine.
Well, nah, you don't have the same influence to get where Prime is right now. They're in their lane, I'm in mine. It's like, oh, the Prime's not better because you're not going to be mainstream or not a lot of people are going to get your drink. It's like, no, that just means mine's healthier and better. I don't understand that.
Because my drink is an alternative to people that don't necessarily want to go down the road of caffeinated drinks but still want to have an energy boost. That's the reason I drink it. I have central nervous system problems that I'm still going through. It's why I'm in fucking Wales. And this drink offers me that alternative. And I was speaking on my own platform. I never brought that onto Misfits platforms. I never brought that onto DAZN platform. I never came out and said, hey, look at Update, how much better it is than Prime. I've never done that. And people behind the scenes at Misfits still got upset at me for it. But the last big thing, and I guess this is where we'll end off, that was a big deal behind the scenes that came into the public. And again, just me being transparent, since these things are public now, you guys heard Mams Taylor.
Who else has built that fight like this? Look at my channel.
No.
Who has built that fight more?
Anyway, have fun on Kingpin, Wade.
I was offered to commentate Kingpin's tournament, and I turned that offer down multiple times because just like I told Kingpin and just like I told Mams, I wanted to help build Misfits and DAZN together. I wanted to help build the influencer boxing scene, and I saw Misfits and DAZN as the best way to do that. And after weeks and weeks of getting this offer from Kingpin and turning it down, and actually when they asked me who would be a better fit if it wasn't me, pointing to my brother and saying FaZe Sensei, because people have not put the respect on his name for being one of the best in our scene at what he does, not only breaking down fights, but showing real-life application of who has advantages because he does this.
And FaZe Sensei is a brilliant fighter. Like, I remember watching his fight in the KSI Logan 1 card, I think. And then, of course, the recent Misfits one, I think. Yeah, I think that was him or someone else. But Sensei is great every time he's in the ring. And, yeah, now recently he's in the breaking down boxing scene, and he's doing great, I think. So I think it's very nice that, you know, Wade is like, I can't do Kingpin, but my buddy Sensei can do it, and there you go. I think that's pretty sick of him. And, you know, for Mams to be like, have fun on Kingpin, it's like, fuck you.
He got that opportunity, and when I tell you, I'm so happy for Isaiah. Like, he deserves that, and he's going to show you guys exactly why. That was fine. But the offer came in again to work alongside Sensei, and I went to Mams Taylor as recently as this week with that offer because, no, I'm not under contract with Misfits. I'm not even under long-term contract with DAZN, but I was trying to build, and I was trying to establish that long-term deal by telling Mams Taylor I want to be involved long-term with Misfits and DAZN. I want to help build this scene, but I can't do this thing back and forth where I'm in purgatory and there's this deal on the table. I'm bringing it to you to say, I don't want to go do this. And again, it was the same answer, the purgatory thing, where they didn't know if they wanted to work long term, and I was pissing people off behind the scenes, and he talked to people, and to this day, I never got that answer, but I don't think I was ever going to get it. But that's how Mams Taylor had the ammo to use that against me, and it is what it is, I guess. It was just something that was private, made public. And again, if we're talking about people being two-faced, it wasn't me that did that. So yeah, that's kind of it. I'm really just disappointed I had to make this video, honestly, because I'm older than JJ is, not by a lot, but I looked up to the guy. I did. And I believed him when he spoke. And to a degree, I still kind of do. But when things got personal with me, if you guys hadn't been around, when he dropped all those messages on me, if you guys hadn't come to support me on Twitter, on YouTube, on Reddit, which I saw, they would have buried me. And I don't know if I would have gotten an apology from KSI or Mams. But what I do know is this channel's not going anywhere.
Okay, I think that's probably it. But yeah, you know, I think that's a very good point is if people on Twitter, on YouTube, or, yeah, if people didn't come and be like, okay, this is bullshit on why you fired Wade for this specific reason, because he thinks Jake Paul and Tommy Fury does better pay-per-view numbers than Jake and KSI, then yeah, and KSI did all that Twitter thing. If people didn't stand up and support Wade, yeah, his career would be over, and I don't support that 100%, because that was probably KSI and Mams Taylor's intention, was to absolutely dismantle Wade because he wasn't biased towards KSI. And it's a shame. And Misfits, I supported Misfits on their first card when they did the KSI versus Swarms and Pineda thing. But I think very, very recent, I think the honeymoon stage towards Misfits started and ended with that first card, because very recently I think I find Mams Taylor, the runner of Misfits, very unprofessional. And, especially now with this situation coming to light, where a boxing commentator that just so happens to appear in your thing says, oh, well, here's my opinion on which fight I think does better pay-per-view numbers. It's sad. It's honestly fucking sad and very unprofessional. If I was a YouTube boxer, I would never want to work for Misfits, because I know that if I say the wrong thing online, I'd be fired. And especially now, like, what the fuck is this? Yeah, and in KSI, I don't give a fuck about him anymore. Like, I used to be a huge fan of KSI. He was my favorite YouTuber. Whenever people would ask me, who's your favorite YouTuber, I would always say KSI. He was a great fucking YouTuber, and now it seems like KSI's true colors have come to light, where he overreacts to anything anybody really says online, and I just can't respect that. And I 100% stand with Wade. Hopefully he gets a good enough job somewhere. Hopefully his channel remains intact after this. And yeah, like, I 100% stand with Wade, and it's a shame that he had to respond like this. But yeah, anyways, guys, I know this video has been a little long, and I apologize for that, but this is gonna have to conclude today's video, where we went over the KSI and Wade concept situation. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. I know this isn't what I typically cover here on Willie Does Wrestling, but I decided to make a video on it, since I do rarely cover the YouTube boxing scene. But anyways, guys, if you like this video, be sure to like, be sure to subscribe, turn those post notifications on, and share around. And yeah, this has been it. This has been your boy Willie Does Wrestling. See you in the next video. Be good, people. Peace.